Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is distribute your villagers out evenly onto the wood crates. We're going to send our explorer over to build a trading post socket immediately. And then as soon as we can build a mosque, we are going to as well. We're going to split 3 villagers onto food. We're going to start herding in our first hunt. 3 on food, 3 on wood. Build the mosque with one of the villagers on wood. We luckily have an in-base wood treasure that we're going to collect so our villagers can chop less wood. It's very important. So we're going to be building a house as well with that 100 wood. So you're going to chop for 100 and then put everybody else back onto food. This is the deck. You can pause and look at the video when you would like. So after that, we're going to have that one villager put the house down. And then we're just going to get food until the age up. Now, I'm not going to be doing a very active scouting job in age 1 here like I would in-game. So, your APM should be dedicated to that. But just make sure you do a good job herding in age 1. First card is going to be 3 villagers. Now, I will be grabbing some treasures just to show you the time frame. So, on average, a good civilization with a standard non-idle TC will age up at around 3 minutes. If you cut out a villager or get out a good food treasure, you can age up at 240 or 220, depending on if you do a 1210 or a 1010. Otto's best age 1 can age up at like 210, and it is very strong because you can get your next shipments in faster. The mosque is 0.8 XP per second, and the trading post is 1, so you have an incredibly strong XP curve for shipments. Now, you can send capitalism if you would like in age 1. I think if you go capitalism into 5 vills in the second age, that's the best for a double racks Janissary push, and then you just go into 700 coin and then 700 food or 700 wood, second CP, whatever. But I'm going to age up with the 2 villagers and 2 cows. I'm going to put 4 villagers onto coin here, and then I'm going to start herding in 2 hunts. Fortunately, on Great Plains, the bison have a lot of food on them, so that's very nice. But 4 villagers on a coin, the rest on a food. And don't forget, Ottoman town centers will continue producing villagers even after you select the age up. So you want to make sure that your villagers are onto an appropriate task. Again, no more than 4 on coin, the rest on the food, and then you'll be good. So in the transition period, you want to make sure, just to reinforce some good behaviors, you want to scout, you want to get treasuries, you want to be looking towards mid-map, what your opponent might be doing, things of that nature. Again, I'm not going to be looking too much at the scouting. I want to focus mainly on what's on the town center for you guys. Of course, in-game, you will be responding to threats. You'll be responding to what the opponent is doing. But in a perfect vacuum, this is kind of the greed that you can hope to get away with. Of course, train units, of course, adapt. But if you can do the Fast Fortress, which I think you can, and I'll show you why in a moment. So again, keep herding. Want to make sure food is nice and safe under the town center in case there's pressure. Maximizing the value by keeping that age 1 herd alive. We're going to move our cows over. We're going to put 4 villagers onto each cow. We want to minimize the delay of decay. Going to immediately, as soon as you age up, as soon as possible, send that 700 coin shipment and just keep chopping, or rather mining coin until you get to 300. Once you get it to 300, pull those villagers off and put them onto the food, and when the coin crates come in, we're going to be picking up the coin with 7 villagers. So the 4 from the mine, and then 3 from other herds. Continue eating the cows. We want to eat them with 4 villagers again. Unfortunately, that Vil pathing issue, but it's okay. We're paying attention. So we're getting close to the 300 mark. We're at 300. Boom! Pulling the villagers onto coin. Again, splitting 2 per the small crates, and then 5 on the big crate. So we're moving the villagers. We have enough food now, so we're going to move them off of the cow. It's very important that we age up as quickly as possible here. Ship 700 wood behind this for infrastructure, and then we're going to age up with the 4 delis. And boom, look at the time. That is really, really, really strong age up time. You can age up fast. I would not recommend this, and I recommend sending 700 wood. In game, you will likely come under pressure of some sort if you straight fast fortress, and it is important that you get the 700 wood for earlier infrastructure. Now, with this 700 wood, we're going to put 2 or 3 villagers onto the wood crates. I'm going to be putting down a market and a second trading post. Now, of course, this is very greedy. If you feel, based on your scouting, that you can put a trading post down, you should. If you feel that you're about to get pushed, put down a barracks and start training Janissaries immediately. But instead here, I'm going to be greedy because Gustavus Adolphus is kind of a bot, unfortunately. But anyways, yeah, so the XP, very nice. As you'll notice, you will age up with a shipment because our XP curve is very strong. The Delis are the best cavalry in the game in terms of age 2 heavy cavalry. They have 6.8 movement speed, and I'll show you some stats of them later, and they're just very, very strong. So continue herding in again. We are getting fortunate that there's another bison herd to the left. Let's pause here. So at this point in time, if you want to, you can consider sending 5 villagers with the second trading post, right? You can consider sending Palace Intrigue if you want to do a fast industrial, or you can consider sending 5 Janissaries or 3 Delis. Or for when you reach age 3, you can get Spahi. For Spahi, just put all your villagers on food. If you don't want that, you can go 1k wood, put down 2 TCs or more infrastructure. You could go 1k coin and go industrial. Up to you. But we're going to continue. So this build is incredibly flexible. It presents a lot of tempo, and you have a decent economy. As you can see, we're getting steel traps and placer mines with the 700 wood. And yeah, if we wanted to chop for a barracks, we could, or we could have just, again, not used the second trading post there. So really up to you. It's very versatile. So the age up is coming in at 6:30, or excuse me, very early. And at this point, like I said, I'm going to go... Usually the best move is to get Spahi with the Deli because no real age 2 mass can deal with Spahi unless you have like 10 Hus. But with the Deli, with the Hussars, or with the Spahi, pardon me, you're guaranteed to win. And you can just choose your engagements wisely. So again, you want to be raiding, doing some harassment. Woo! So again, not focusing the APM, we're going to look at the town center here and what the build is in particular. So continue herding or back herd, I guess. That's cool. That's completely cool. Just getting log flume just to press buttons. You know, Ottoman players like pressing buttons. You can place down another house because the Spahi. And again, be careful. Remember, if you ship 5 villagers, you want to get Galata Tower District immediately to increase your villager capacity. But we did not ship 5 vills. And so let's look at the stats of these things. 750 HP, 6.5 movement speed. So do note that Spahi are slower than Hus. So if you see an engagement that you don't want to take, be careful. Delhi, on the other hand, have 6.8 movement speed. They're a little bit faster than Hus, and they have an insane rate of fire. They beat Hus. 4 Delhi beat 5 Hus. And they absolutely wreck light infantry. So very good composition here of just pure heavy cav. Doesn't matter if they have anti-cav. In this instance, we're going to go into 1k wood and go get ourselves a second town center. Why do we want a second town center? Well, Ottoman have the best Minutemen in the game. They have incredible multipliers versus heavy infantry. And diving under an Ottoman town center is scary. If we get ourselves a second town center, not only is that basically 5.5 vills on food, producing villagers for free, we also have access to the strongest Minutemen in the game. Again, you can place down either an artillery foundry, a barracks, a stable, whatever you want at this point before the 1k wood comes in. You can market sell to if you really need infrastructure down. But we're going to put our villagers onto wood. Again, I'm not making units, but if you look at our macro, we can either make Janissaries or Abus or Cav Archers. Our macro is very solid right now. We're going to place down a second town center. Now, you want to place it not far away, but you want to place it next to your original town center. You're at 20 villagers. If you're getting pushed, you can maximize the TC fire and 2 sets of Minutemen to cover. And if you're aging to industrial, it is hard for the opponent to choose which TC to siege down, and you can age up from the back town center safely. We're going to put down a Rax and an artillery foundry because Jan Abus is OP. So good. Jan's best unit in the game. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Going to continue herding in. Once these villagers that are constructing the infrastructure finish that, we're going to help finish the town center to expedite our villager production process. And then we're also going to research Galata and whatever the other mosque upgrade is. So we get faster villagers, we get more villagers. Again, I have another shipment in queue at this point. We're at around 9 minutes in the game, 9:30. So I can either go into whatever I want. We have 2 TCs. Let's pause. We have an artillery foundry. We have a barracks. We have all of our market techs. And we have a lot of food in base. And on the field, we have 5 Spahi and 4 Deli. I can go into 1K coin. I can go into Cav Archers. If I make Jans, I can go Enderin School, Palace Intrigue, Mamelukes, whatever you want. There's so many good Ottoman shipments.